Choosing a college major is one of the biggest life decisions, yet lots of people still end up picking the wrong one. When you're still a kid and somebody asked you, what do you want to be in the future? You could answer it easily like, I want to be an astronaut or I want to be a president. But choosing a college major is another thing. There are lots of things that need to be considered all of a sudden. Well, if we think about it, how could we expect students to make such an important life decision at such a young age? They were young, they didn't have proper guidance from the adults, and some of them even probably followed misleading advice that made them choose the wrong major. Now, before we dive further into how to choose a college major correctly, we need to know what makes an ideal college major. An ideal college major is the one that consists of these three things. 1. What you're good at. 2. What can get you paid for. And 3. What you love. This part is the ideal place you want to get into. If you're in this part of the chart, you'd be broke and have no money. If you're in this part of the chart, you'd more likely hate your job, even though you'd still get money. And if you're in this part of the chart, you'd be outcompeted easily by your colleagues and eventually get less money. If you want to pick the right major for you, you need to dig deeper into these three things. Let's talk about it one by one. Firstly, knowing what you're good at. Being good at something doesn't necessarily mean being perfect at doing it. It just means you're better than most people at it comparatively. There are 8 types of intelligence. All people have these intelligences, but in a different portion. The people who always get an A in every math exam would probably have higher portion of logical mathematical intelligence. Some people might be good at words and communicate effectively without effort, which means that they're primarily verbal linguistic intelligent, and some people might be just good at everything. But the important thing is, you need to be aware of your dominant intelligence type because it would ultimately determine the college major that suits you. For example, if your intelligence is predominantly higher in logical mathematical type, you'd probably excel in engineering, math, physics, or even computer science. Whereas if you're more of a verbally intelligent person, you'd probably excel in law, journalistic, or communication science. Generally speaking, most people would have already known what they're good at. But in case you didn't, you can always try to take that sort of intelligence or talent test on the internet and try to see the result. If you already know what you're good at, now let's talk about money, because unless you're born in a crazy rich family, you'd most likely go to college to get a well-paid job subsequently. Statistically, some majors lead to higher paying jobs, and that depends on lots of factors. That's why you need to do your research. The least you can do is to find the average salary data of college major graduates in your country. You can easily find that by using Google. But if you want to dig deeper, you can try to read the Future of Jobs report by World Economic Forum. It's a report that is written based on survey data that details the expectations of the world's largest employers related to how socioeconomic and technology trends will shape the workplace in the future. One of the most important findings in this report is the top fastest growing and declining jobs list within the next few years. Based on the list, you can try to choose a college major that's relevant. Since it's a bit complicated because it's a formal document, I suggest you discuss it with your parents or teachers as well. Finally, you need to know the college major that you'd probably love. Ask yourself, what am I excited to learn about even without getting paid? That's your intrinsic motivation, and that's what we call passion. But I need to tell you in advance, passion is quite elusive. Sometimes people don't really know what they're passionate about. Sometimes people don't actually love the work. They only love the results instead of the process. They love being praised, being successful, or being the best. That's not quite the same as loving the process of the job. It's a subtle difference. I had a friend who chose mechanical engineering because he liked cars. 3 years later, he was staring at Excel sheets, wondering where the cars went. He loves cars, but it turns out that he doesn't enjoy the process of designing a car. Now you might have been wondering, what if there aren't any college major that suits all of these 3 parameters? The major that you love and that you're good at doesn't pay much. The major that you're good at and pays well is not your passion, and so on. You need to prioritize them depending on your circumstances. If you come from a working class or middle income background and probably go to college in order to get a secured job, you should prioritize job opportunity and talent over passion. Passion matters, but it's not the only thing that matters. Instead of doing what you love, learn to love what you do, or you can just keep your passion as a hobby. On the other hand, if money isn't your main concern because of your financial privilege, then prioritizing passion over money is acceptable. It's a harsh truth, but economical background really affects the university major choice of a person. Kim Whedon, a sociologist at Cornell, said that the amount of money a college student's parents make does correlate with what that person studies. Kids from lower income families tend toward useful majors such as computer science, math, and physics. Those whose parents make more money flock to history, English, and performing arts. John Quincy Adams once wrote, "I have to study politics and war so that my sons can study mathematics, commerce, and agriculture, so their sons can study poetry, painting, and music."